All right, so moving on, we've learned how to solve equations if we have powers, but what if we have multiple bases with powers, or the same base with different powers? How do we do that? Well, guess what? That's what we're moving on to. And you may go, Mrs. Carrett, I never asked those questions. But now I'm going to be asking you those questions. So here we go. We're going to work with our first property, which is the product property, which is that any integer a, m, and n, where a does not equal 0, then the following is true. A to the m times a to the n will equal a to the m plus n. Now, if you're sitting there going, whoa, I just want to remind you, because we talked about product, which in this case means multiply, right? Property. And so we're going to be talking about, powers and exponents and all of that. So in case you forgot, using a to the m for an example, this whole thing is a power. And this, let's see, the best way to come at it, little thing is an exponent. Remember, the exponents are flyer. And the big one is our base. So, altogether, that is a power. So here we have the product property. We're multiplying powers together. And what that means is that we'll add our exponents. Well, that, Ms. Carrett, I'm not sure that I understand why. So let's do this, for example. If I have a cubed times a squared, that would be the same as a times a times a, that's a cubed, times a times a. So in all actuality, we're multiplying all these together, and so now I have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 a's. And instead of having to do that each time, because it's a pattern and this pattern happens every time, this works every time, I could say that this is a to the 3 plus 2, which is a to the 5th. So that's why when we have same base, in this case that was the a's, same base being multiplied together, we can add their exponents. You have to keep in mind same base. We've got to have like bases, so kind of keep in thought the like term. All right, so we are just simplifying. So in this first one, I'm not doing 5 times 5. I mean, technically we're doing 5 squared times 5 to the 8th, but don't go making this 25 to the 10th. Are we with me? My base stays. Base stays. That is one of the most common errors, is taking the 5 times the 5 and getting 25. Nope, 5 is going to stay, and we're going to do 2 plus 8, which is equal to 5 to the 10th power, and that's our final answer there. On this one, we're going to do x cubed plus 5 plus 10. So x to the 3 and 5 is 8 plus 10 is 18. So our final answer is x to the 18th. Now here, we've got our base is the m's. The 10 is not with the 2 is not with the 5. So we're going to take 2 times 5, like it says, and then we're going to do m to the 10th times m squared. We're just going to group them. We're using that associative property. These properties that you were taught a while ago, this is where they come in handy. It allows us to manipulate things so that we can make things more simple. So 2 times 5 is 10. And then we're going to have m to the 10 plus 2. So now we have 10m to the 12th. And that is our final answer. And that is the product property. And the next couple videos, we'll do a couple more multiplication properties. But that's our first one. So until then, see you in the next video.